Okay, so in the last lesson, we talked about, if you haven't watched this video yet, we talked about how servers work over HTTP. But that's only part of the story, right? So we talked about the fact that if we went to http://google.com, how it would work. Realistically, this is normally not HTTP anymore. It usually has an S in there, doesn't it? Right? This S stands for secure. What it means is that there's a signing authority that exists in this story, in this web server story. There's a signing authority that's basically saying, yes, your connection is secure and encrypted. That's really what it's saying. Your connection's encrypted. So the data that you send back and forth is encrypted and it's safe. And there's a signing authority that sits there that does that. Now, essentially how this works, a little complicated, but essentially how this works is pretty simple. The simple story is simple. So I'm going to draw my laptop again. So here's my laptop. My little web browser here. Perfect. And I've gone to, I'm not at google.com anymore. Let's say I'm at, I'm at google.com. I'm going to change my password. That's what I'm doing. So I'm at google.com. I got my little G here. And I'm changing my password, right? Which is like a bunch of asterisks, and there's like a little submit button. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's like a little submit button here that I can go ahead and click. So it's known as a web form. That's what this is. We're going to be learning about web forms very soon, but this is known as a form. Go ahead and type something into that form. Something's going to happen, right? That has to get sent to the server. I'm updating something. So we talked about HTTP requests last time to the server. Remember, I had a server over here. It was so beautiful. I know, right? With my little thing here. There. Got my server there. So I have my server on that side. So I'm going to go ahead and fill something out in this form. I'm going to send that data. I'm going to send data to the server. I'm actually going to send my password to the server. So if I just were to send the password over the normal internet, that password would get sent exactly how it is. So if that password, for example, is literally the word, I don't know, cats. Great password, by the way. Don't take it. So if it's cats, and I went ahead and sent that to the server, it would send literally as the word cats, right? So it would be terrible. If everybody ever intersected this connection between here and here, this would be revealed. This data would be revealed. It's not encrypted. What's known as, it's not turned into basically like a secret code, right? And to a secret code, there's two parts to a secret code, right? You have the code itself, and then you have the key to decrypt the code, to figure out how to decrypt and encrypt the code. So if I know how to encrypt the code and I send it over to the server, but it doesn't have the key, then it can't unencrypt it. It can't decrypt that code. It can't figure out what cats is. It can't figure out that the word is cats, right? So there's two parts to this. So how it works is I have this thing in the middle, which is like a shield, right? And this is my SSL or secure socket layer. And the secure socket layer is realistically run by what's known as a signing authority. Okay, signing authority, a lot of times that could be, actually more recently, that's run by an organization called Let's Encrypt. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. So Let's Encrypt, for example, could be the signing authority. Okay, that could be the signing authority. It's an organization, nonprofit organization actually, that provides free SSL certificates. That's what we're talking about. When we say S, we're adding an SSL certificate. Or it could be like a big giant one like Komodo. Komodo makes pay-for ones, premium ones, maybe $100 a year, depending on what you need. If you need it, more sophisticated ones could be a couple $100 or $1,000 a year, something like that. But some sort of thing. So something like Amazon would probably use Komodo, but catworld.com, like my website or something, that might use Let's Encrypt because I don't want to have to pay for the SSL, but I still want an SSL. Okay. So anyways, there's some sort of signing authority here that we know about in here. Now how it works is when I go ahead and I create this connection between the two, the SSL will understand, the SSL that's actually given me the certificate will give me, first of all, will tell me what the expiry date is of that certificate. So whether it's valid or not right now. If you ever go to a website where it says, well, this certificate might not be invalid, a lot of times it's because of, maybe your system date or the server date is wrong, or the SSL is expired, right? So one of those. And if it's expired, then it can't work, right? So it has to be a current working SSL certificate. Now, without getting into too many details into this, essentially that SSL piece means that there's a key involved that's then provided to the server to unencrypt that data, and that the signing authority provides that. So I don't want to go into too many more details than that. We're going to leave it at that point, but that's really what's happening, and that's how what that S comes from. Now, there's another protocol we use on the web aside from HTTP, and that is known as FTP. So if HTTP is the way we look at websites, essentially, it's how we request and we look at websites. FTP is how we transfer them to the web server. So again, it happens between this way and this. It happens between my client computer and my server. But for example, I'm a web developer. I've developed Google.com. I need to put it on this computer. So I'm going to use what's known as an FTP application and use the file transfer protocol to get it there. So I can actually send over the FTP FT protocol or file transfer protocol. I can go ahead and I can put those files on the server so that someone in the future can go ahead and access them using HTTP. Your web browser is an HTTP protocol viewer, if you think about it. Whereas an application such as FileZilla or CyberDuck, these are all FTP applications, very popular ones. One's for Windows, one's cross-platform, and one's Mac only. But either way, they're going to allow you to be able to access this protocol. And the way the addresses work, it's the same thing. It's like this, FTP, // and then whatever the address is. Sometimes that's google.com, or sometimes that's the IP address, like we talked about before. Okay? Whatever it is, it depends on the configuration. But this also exists in an SFTP, right? Which is the same idea. Now we're also going over an encrypted connection. So now we've encrypted this data as we're sending it over. So an SFTP address instead of a just normal FTP address. And again, that S is what secures it. Okay? And that's it.